The year is 1910. Adolf Hitler, a struggling artist, has fought off dozens of assassination attempts by well-meaning time travelers, but this one is different. This traveler doesn't want to kill Hitler, he wants to teach him to paint. He pulls off his hood to reveal the frizzy afro of Bob Ross. There he sat, twirling his personal, stylized mustache. It was avant-garde, just like he wanted to be. The man, as he was so, just wanted a place in this world for his art. He continues to stare at the easel, thinking. After a while he felt a firm, calming hand on his shoulder. He sighed, hanging his head wearily.
Are you yet another man come to end my life, if you can even see it that way?
The hand didn't answer, as it had no mouth. However, its owner did, speaking the soft, assuaging tones that had come to make him famous.
No sir, I've seen too much death and war, to want to do another such thing. Instead, I have come as a tutor. Here, grab that 2-inch brush and dip it in some titanium white and Prussian blue.
Hitler did such a thing, and the man behind him nodded.
Good. Now, mix them together, until you have a rather nice pale blue.
Adolf did so, his brush strokes trembling across the palette.
Easy there tiger, try to keep yourself calm. Now, painting is all about being steady, confident.
Adolf nodded again, and went this time, albeit a bit slower, and mixed another selection. After he had done this, the stranger patted his shoulder.
Good, now let's see you paint a nice, open sky.
But how? I can barely paint the ground, let alone what lies above it.
Sighing, the man grabbed a firm hold of his arm and lifted it up.
All you have to do is nice, tiny X's, like so.
A portion, the top left-hand corner, was soon filled with a nice layer of blue.
Now go ahead, try it.
Adolf sighed and attempted this, and, to his surprise, mimicked the man's stroke almost perfectly.
Ah, there ya go. Now, wash that brush off in your water, and beat the devil out of it on your wood there.
At this point, Adolf couldn't help but turn around in surprise.
You want me to beat my easel with it?
The Aphrodite figure behind him nodded, pulling off his woolen hood.
Yes sir, I do. Go on. It won't hurt it.
Tell me who you are first, then maybe I will.
The figure smiled a bright smile, as a squirrel popped out of his hair.
Why, I'm Bob Ross, and I heard you wanted to be a painter. Hitler was having a piece of banana cake when Bob Ross walked in, and I just feel like no one gets me, you know? The future Führer was saying to one of his servants, as he sprayed whipped cream over the cake, distracted. I mean, I know most artists are destined to be posthumous, but, I don't know, I guess I want the fame and the fortune too, you know? Jap, it is very hard, my master, the man said, in a German accent, but in English for no reason at all, just like foreign characters in the movies. Hey, Hitler, Bob said, stepping in, confident. May I? He pulled a chair, sat down without waiting for an answer. What is this? Listen, I'm Bob Ross, and I'm from the future, and I paint stuff. Bob Ross. Yes. Here's the thing, I'm supposed to come here, and teach you how to paint, so you'll be a good painter, and not invade Poland, and then the rest of Europe, and cause the death of millions of people. Holy shit, I'd do that? Hitler widened his eyes. Oh, yes. It's awful. People still use your name as a reference to evil. There's even an internet law, based on how long it takes until someone compares a certain situation to Nazi Germany during an argument. What's the internet? Never mind. Bob leaned forward. This is what we are going to do. I'm going to teach you how to. Excuse me, Hitler's servant said, in that same fake accent. I'm afraid I must intervene here. What's wrong? Well, Mr. Ross, have you considered the twist? The twist? Yes. The fact that you'll teach this man how to paint. He'll grow to be a famous painter, not invade anything, and when you return to your home time you'll find out that another man named, I don't know, Hans, has taken over Germany and did worse things than Adolf here could ever do. Ross frowned. I don't follow. You don't watch much Twilight Zone, do you? The servant asked. How do you know about the Twilight Zone? This is 1910. Never mind about that. The servant leaned back. My name is Hans Ross, and I will take over Germany if you teach Adolf how to paint. Why? Why would you do that? Why else would I be in the scene? Why would Hitler not be alone when you walked in? I have to serve some purpose for the plot, right? And let's face it, go back in time and kill / talk / convince / teach Hitler is a trope we've seen before, and it always ends like this. In fact, most time traveling tropes tend to end with a silly variation of the butterfly effect we made things even worse twist. Let's not make this prompt another example. Bob Ross scratched his head and thought about this. Shit, okay, I guess. But what do we do now? Now we find a way to subvert time traveling tropes and present something fresh for the readers. And fast, because they're getting impatient. Why are they getting impatient? We are still at 500 words. Yes, but we've gone postmodern self-referential, characters acknowledging their own stories. That annoys some people. It's not really my fault. Look at the prompt. Where do you go with time traveling Bob Ross and Hitler? That's not self-referential parody. Now you're blaming the op for your shortcomings as a storyteller. Classy, not my shortcomings. I'm not the author. They both turn and stare at me for a second. I shrug. Anyway, Hans said, resuming the conversation. Do something different. Fast. But what? Who? Fuck, I don't know. Kiss Hitler. Erotic Nazi fanfic? No thanks. Okay, then you have cancer, and Hitler nurses you to health, but in the end we find out Hitler has cancer too, and I'm not taking part in the Fault in Our Stars feat. Adolf Hitler. It ain't gonna happen. Well, you gotta do something, and fast, because time is running out. Hitler. Any suggestions? Adolf looked around. He got up and paced. I don't know. Can you just return to your present time and call it a day? And then everything happens as it's supposed to? That's boring. Yeah. Hitler stopped. I don't know then. I really don't know. Hans shook his head. Okay, I got this. He grabbed a little radio device from his pocket and spoke into it. Send them in. Ross frowned. Send who in? Static emerged from the radio for a second. Then a voice answered. Copy that. Send who in? Adolf repeated. What's happening? Well, Hans said, getting up. If we are in a Hitler and Bob Ross time traveling prompt, and we can't figure out a way to turn it into something fresh, we might as well embrace irony and self-mockery to the full extent of writing prompts classic tropes. What do you mean? The door came open behind Ross. He turned back and watched as two teenagers walked in, a boy in round glasses and a scar on his forehead and a girl that looked a lot like Emma Watson. Hey Harry, hey Hermione. Sorry to drag you into yet another prompt. You got the time turner? Yup, Harry said, in a bored tone. Harry Potter fanfic? Really? Ross shook his head. For fuck's sake. If we are gonna go down the rabbit's hole, let's do it proudly. Hermione started setting the time turner. Harry looked around, curious. Ross sighed. Duck that, I'm out, Hitler said, and then he jumped out the window, and then WW2nd didn't happen, but the statute of secrecy was violated on account of the whole thing and muggles learned about magic, and when Ross returned to his present day no one gave a shit about static paintings anymore, so he died a poor man, which I guess is irony, or whatever, I don't even care.